So there's an issue on the horizon that could potentially become somewhat of a problem for Ukraine. And it's something a lot of people probably aren't thinking about. And what I'm talking about is this emerging dispute between the Trump administration and Europe over Greenland. Now, to be clear, Greenland is part of Denmark. Denmark is part of NATO. Therefore, our threats against Greenland are threats against NATO and effectively ourselves in a way. If this ends up growing worse and worse and worse, and it shows no signs of slowing down, in fact, you have Katie Miller, the wife of Stephen Miller, who has a lot of power in the Trump administration, posting a map earlier this week, which had an American flag draped over Greenland that said soon. You had Stephen Miller last night claiming that any land, country, whatever, near the United States is basically subject to our control at our whim, which is obviously a clear violation of the Nuremberg Principles and the UN Charter that we signed. So you've also got this situation where NATO had to issue a formal statement, as well as a bipartisan statement that came from the pro-Denmark caucus in the United States Congress. So it's insane behavior by the Trump administration, illegal behavior as well. And if that ends up developing, you wonder if they're able to keep those two things separate, Greenland versus Ukraine, because the European-American relationship is critical to the continued outflow of weapons to NATO and then on, ultimately, to Ukraine. So watch this space. I don't consider it to be like a huge issue at this time, but it's definitely worth watching.